What's going on, vinyl community? It's time for a long overdue and earlier promised rock and metal stack.
Rock and metal stack.
This is going to be in two parts. The first is going to be all new pickups, and the second is going to be new to me pickups, used stuff, and some trades that I had done with vinyl community member Garner. We'll save that for part two. First, here's what's going on in the background if you can hear it. This is Journey's Eclipse. This was cut in 2011. Amazing, amazing CD that I picked up when it was released, and finally got lucky enough to turn up a copy on vinyl. So excited to find a copy of this on vinyl. If you're a Journey fan, this is definitely an album that you want. It's just awesome. Guitars, keyboards, everything that Journey does, fantastic. Arnel Pineda on vocals, and you know, he sounds about as close to Steve Perry as Steve Perry can sound, without sounding like a knockoff of Steve. But if you like that era of Journey, you'll love Eclipse. This was a killer find. I had been on the lookout for this for a long time. I believe it's pressed in Italy or the UK. It says Italy on the back cover, but yeah, and it's got an Italy sticker on it. So yeah, it's an Italian press. Absolutely excellent album. Full on guitars, keyboards, AOR, really well produced. Sounds amazing. You've got to do yourself a favor if you haven't heard this and check it out. It's an excellent album. Super happy to add it to the collection. I've been looking for that one for a long time. And this one, who rocks harder than Ace Frehley? Right on. Here's Anomaly. This was Ace's release from 2009. This came out on vinyl in pretty limited quantities, and it had gotten a little pricey over time. And Brookvale Records, who had recently started reissuing the Dream Theater albums, also decided to do a limited edition reissue of Anomaly. There is 750 copies each of green splatter vinyl, which this is, and blue splatter vinyl. So I picked up green intentionally. I just thought it looked cooler with the labels. The face on the labels is green. So there's 1,500 in total that were reissued. They came out earlier this month. This is October 2013. And Ace's intent recording this was to recapture and rekindle the spirit of his solo album from '78 with Kiss. And overall, he succeeded. It's just got so many great moments. Foxy and Free, Fox on the Run, the continuation of Fractured Quantum, his instrumental, and Genghis Khan, another killer instrumental, just make it an absolutely excellent album. Again, they're super limited. They're available online. There's 750 blue and 750 green. So if it's something you're interested in, don't hesitate, because it is an awesome Ace Frehley album. I mean, and coming from a massive lifelong Space Ace fan, don't miss it. Here's another reissue. This is an album I had been waiting to add to my collection for as long as I've been collecting vinyl. It's Faith No More's The Real Thing. If there is one album that I've wanted in my collection forever, it is this. And it was finally reissued by Music on Vinyl. I believe there's 2,500 that were pressed. This one is on green vinyl. I could have cared less, and you guys know with me, just black vinyl and I'm fine, but if it's colored, whatever. This is so wonderfully pressed. The sound quality is outstanding. When I found this was being reissued, I think it was back in June, and I put my pre-order in at that point and just counted the days. Comes with a nice lyric inner sheet and another Music on Vinyl insert. If I have one complaint about this, it's that War Pigs, which closed the album and is part of what made it so great, is not on the vinyl. So I don't know if there was a licensing issue with Black Sabbath, or if it just would have made it into 2 LPs, which would have been fine with me, but it's not here. It is, of course, on the cassette, it is on the CD, and Faith No More's cover of War Pigs is part of what made the album awesome. With or without War Pigs, and it is a bit disappointing, this is an outstanding reissue, and I could not be happier to finally have The Real Thing in my collection. As far as Faith No More goes, this is a perfect 10. Angel Dust is a little behind it, maybe an 8 or a 9. I love Angel Dust, I always have, and I have the entire catalog on cassette. But as far as vinyl, with this and Angel Dust, I'm done. This is excellent, absolutely excellent, and this is number 1,870 of 2,500. And Ace, was number 667 of 750. I'd love to get a number 1 one of these days. Here's another killer album. This is Ross the Boss, Hailstorm. Ross the Boss, Ross up here in the corner from Manowar. Just absolutely epic. Excellent power metal. Fantastic stuff. If you love power metal, if you love Manowar, then you already love Ross. Pretty cool labels on this. But if you love epic, just power metal, just fantastic melodic guitar work, shredding leads, pounding drums. It's Matthias, right, is the drummer. Yeah, Matthias Mayer. Just, I mean, John Bonham style, pounding on the drum kit. This was awesome. And this, I actually, I traded an album to Greeno for this. He had a couple copies of this, and I had a copy of something he wanted, so he sent a copy my way. Greeno, thanks. Awesome trade, great album. Here's one that I've had and have just been spinning away for a month. This is Rush Vapor Trails Remix. You know me, there's no way I'm gonna miss this album, right? Just to hold Vapor Trails on vinyl is like a dream come true. It's been so far out of print and so pricey for so long. This came with an insert, lyric insert. Why Vapor Trails Remixed? Because Vapor Trails is an album that for a long time has not lived up to Rush's legacy for just sonic amazement. Just being as good sounding as everything Rush always is. Vapor Trails has for ages sounded like a muddy piece of shit. It was horribly mixed. It's a brilliant album, and it has a ton of great tracks on it. There's honestly not a bad track in the bunch, and this came out in, of course this says 2013, I think it was 2001 or 2002. Very nice thick poly inner sleeves, and now it's done right. Now it sounds like a Rush album should sound. It's bright where it needs to be bright. It's bassy where it needs to be bassy. You can hear Getty where you need to hear Getty. You can hear all sorts of tones and parts of songs that were buried in the mix and you never heard before. I'm pretty familiar with Vapor Trails, and listening to it for me, it was picking up on tones that I hadn't heard before. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of part of vinyl. Oh, I never heard that. Wow, listening on vinyl is really the right way to go. But this more because it's been remixed and redone. Generally, that's a really bad idea. In this case, it was the best thing they could have done. Epic issue, great reissue. Definitely pick it up. All right, a few left to go here. First, this is just another excellent album. Super happy with this. This is Gamma Ray, Land of the Free Part 2. Gamma Ray, again, more power metal, German power metal. Excellent stuff. I was not familiar with this one, so when I did find it, I got in touch with Greeno real quick. I think this is from 2009, and this is a German import. So I know it's extremely difficult to find in the US, but it was one of those, it doesn't turn up often, it's not going to turn up cheap. You know, let me reach out to Greeno and find out is it worth the price of admission. And you know, he got right back in touch with me and said that's the only one that he owns, and it's an excellent album, go for it. So I picked it up, and I'm really happy I did. Again, this is on Steamhammer out of Germany. Excellent. If you are at all a fan of power metal or Halloween, and spinning this back to back with Ross the Boss, whoo, what an album. It absolutely smoked. Let's see, what do we got here? We got a couple more, and I found a couple of books too to share with you. Inevitably, yes, I did pick up Black Sabbath 13. I've been asked that so many times. Did you grab it? Did you grab it? And it was kind of one of those, yeah, it's on my list, but we'll see. I've had it for about 6 weeks maybe, and I've had a chance to listen to it over and over. I did share the same opinion as some folks in the vinyl community that at first it did sound a bit like an Ozzy solo album. Not that that's a bad thing. Ozzy's got some amazing solo albums, but it just didn't sound like a cohesive Black Sabbath album. I gotta tell you, after having spun it now 4 or 5 times, it's on the Vertigo Swirl label, it is an excellent addition to the Black Sabbath canon. If you're at all a fan, if you're at all on the fence, just get off the fence while it's around and it's readily available and it's at a pretty decent price point. Grab a copy. You won't be disappointed. You know, I mean, just so many great tracks. God is Dead, Zeitgeist. You really can't go wrong. Kick-ass album. Do not hold out. It's fantastic. Last one, and this is a shout out to Karsten Olsen. Karsten, over in Denmark, had showed Dad Disneyland After Dark. No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims. He had actually had it playing, I think, as background music, and it piqued my ears. It was like 80s rock, like The Cult or like Flies on Fire. Excellent 80s rock. I immediately ended up finding, of course, ironic, a copy on cassette. Picked it up and was digging it, and then just kept a watch out on eBay. And it tends to get a little pricey, and I wish it didn't. This was their breakthrough album in America, and they never went anywhere after this in the US. Lo and behold, a new copy turned up. It was a decent price, and I just could not pass it up. This is on the Warner label. So again, if you're a fan of just really, really good 80s rock, stuff like The Cult, or like I said, Flies on Fire, that kind of sound, you've got to pick it up. There's a track or two that kind of floats outside those boundaries. It's a little unique. But overall, this was a fantastic album. Karsten, thank you so much. I actually found another Disneyland After Dark cassette. But on vinyl, this is it so far. The others are imports as far as I know, so they'll be slow ads. But man, this was awesome. Definitely worth checking out. Now, I mentioned a video and a couple of books, too. Here's a video that turned up. This is Megadeth Evolver. This is the making of Euthanasia, which for me is one of Megadeth's best albums, but I'm a huge Megadeth fan, so don't take my word for it. I'm completely biased. So this was very cool. It's about 55 minutes. On the back it says, from Dave Mustaine, this will stun a lot of you. There's no censoring, no overdubs, no lip syncing, no bragging, no posers, no tits and ass, no drugs and booze, and no bullshit. Well, it's not a good video then. But it actually really is. It kind of just weaves you in and out of the studio as they were putting together Euthanasia. This was a Goodwill pickup. This was 99 cents. Fantastic ad. And the last Goodwill pickup, which surprised me, here's Stairway to Heaven, uncensored, Led Zeppelin. I definitely could not leave this sitting there. I think that was $2.99. Last year, I had picked up Led Zeppelin When Giants Walk the Earth, and I loved this book. Man, this was such a good read. It was my first Led Zeppelin bio. I have not started reading this one yet, but I'm definitely jacked about it. Can't wait. If you've read it, what are your thoughts? Is it, not going to stop me from reading it, but is it accurate? Is it over the top? Where's it at? What'd you think of it? I'm sure being from, 92, 20 years old, many people have read it already. So let me know your thoughts. What did you think? And that's it for this video. Another one coming up, like I said, with some trades and some used finds. Stay tuned for that, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit.